Let's talk to Steve more about all of this, the FreedomWorks economist, who I believe has had the ear of the president on some of these issues. So let me start with one that I know is near and dear to you, the payroll tax suspension, as Blake described it. If it comes to that, Steve, the end run around Congress would be executive action, something I know you've suggested. Critics of the move have said that it would also be an end run around the Constitution, which gives the Congress the power of the purse. So can this happen rather than will it happen? What do you say?
So there's no question it can happen. In fact, you know, the media's been all over this for the last week, trying to find some constitutional scholar who will say that it's not constitutional, but it is. And the statutes are very clear about this, which basically says that in the case of an economic emergency, which everyone agrees we're in an economic emergency right now, the president has the authority under the IRS code to postpone the payment of taxes. Remember, Connell, President Trump did this at the beginning of the year when he postponed the April 15th date for paying federal income taxes. He can do the same thing with the payroll tax and to suspend that through the rest of the year or even into 2021. So let me be very clear about this, because a lot of reporters have gotten this wrong. There is zero question Donald Trump 100% has the authority to do it. Then the question is, will he do it?
Should he do it also is part of it,
well,
because maybe, Steve, there's a deal.
Connell,
I know you think that the payroll tax should be suspended. Right. Yeah. Absolutely. I know. I know you're going to answer your own question, but I was going to say maybe there's a deal to be had on Capitol Hill that doesn't include that, but does include stimulus that can get the economy up and running. And should the White House maybe be open to that?
Well, first of all, I'm tired of this idea that government spending is a stimulus. Let's be very clear about this. Government spending doesn't stimulate anything but government. So I don't think that, you know, giving money to states and cities is a stimulus. I don't think that the idea of giving money to schools is a stimulus to the economy. Now, that's not to say it shouldn't be done. Maybe it should, maybe it shouldn't, but it's not going to make the economy healthy. The only thing that makes the economy healthy is to get our businesses up and running, get people back to work, and help those businesses do so. And that's why, really, the only thing that I've seen on the table that's actually a stimulus to hiring workers and getting businesses up and running would be the payroll tax. I do like the idea that Mitch McConnell has really been pushing, which is this idea we are going to need a liability shield for businesses so that the trial lawyers can't sue them every time somebody gets sick. But look, Nancy Pelosi's bill, Connell, is a $3 trillion spending bill. $3 trillion. I mean, that will bankrupt our country. We can't allow that. Even $2 trillion is too much. Even $1 trillion is enough. Is a lot of money. So we're spending trillions of dollars like it's candy. I mean, I've never seen anything like this. When I first came to Washington, the budget in 1984, the entire federal budget, Connell, was $1 trillion. Now we're going to spend a $3 trillion spending bill. It's unbelievable.
No, it's like something we've never, as you said, we've never seen before. And I think you're right about the fact that we've grown to accept it. We've said, oh, it's $1 trillion there, it's $1 trillion there. And suddenly you're talking about real money. But that is where we are, right? And one of the questions I've heard brought up is timing. Bang for the buck timing. So let me finish this. On the payroll tax cut, some, even in the Republican Party, say, well, you know what, that doesn't help us as quickly as a direct payment would, doesn't help us as quickly as the extension of the enhanced unemployment benefit, $600 a week, would. So what do you say to that, that maybe we could help quicker in that type of a fashion?
Well, I certainly hope that there's no Republican out there that says paying people $600 a week, twice as much as they would make for working, is a stimulus. That is the ultimate de-stimulus. In fact, we estimate that if the president were to agree to a $600 a week, this continuation of this project through the end of the year, as Pelosi wants, that will cost the economy 8 million jobs. That's not a stimulus. That's the ultimate de-stimulus.
But maybe Republicans are open to 200 or 300 or 400,
Well, but that's on top of additional benefits. My bottom line on this is we should all agree it makes no sense to pay somebody more for not working than working. It's just not fair. I do think that they've got to keep this price tag below $1 trillion. And by the way, the payroll tax cut gets the money in the economy instantly. I mean, you could literally, next week, you and I could have an extra 7.5% in our paycheck. Connell, I mean, what's wrong with that?
Right. I guess real quick as the last point, we're lucky because we have a paycheck, right? It doesn't go right. If you're not working, then you have another issue,
but that's the other thing. The way the most important way to help people who are unemployed duh, is get them a job. I mean, Pelosi thinks the best way to get people, you know, to help unemployed people is to give them money. No, we want to get them into the workforce and get them a paycheck.
All right, got to run, Steve. Always good to have your perspective on things. Steve Moore out of Washington. Jackie.